I am sure you have been here, looking at an uphill entirely unsure of what the hell to do. Rocks, gullies, and just a big old set of technical uncertainties. Well, there's a drill for that. With any off-road riding, the more consistently and effortlessly you can ride through an obstacle, the better. Especially for adventure riding, it just allows you to explore more, go to new places confidently, and know what you can and cannot do. A big part of learning to ride uphills well and get you and your motorcycle through lots of different technical situations is learning to be calm and patient and ride in a way that gives you controlled forward motion all the time. It's not pretty. It doesn't look as cool as doing a power slide or a wheelie, but never worrying about technical stuff is super satisfying. Imagine knowing you're gonna get up most hills and can explore most places. If we learn to ride slowly up a hill well, the difficulty of uphills you can ride will go through the roof. Tight switchbacks, slippery grass, rock steps, all of it becomes easier because of this drill. So let's learn that. And to make this happen, we are going to need some cones and a gentleish, wide-ish hill. It does not need to be steep. It does not need to be technical or slippery or anything like that. You want something relatively simple and roughly 2 cars wide. Now we're going to take our cones and lay a slalom out on this hill, like a ski-style slalom. Okay, quick side note. This hill, it's not great for this, if I'm honest, but it's the best hill that I've got in this area, and so we're gonna have to work with the ground a little bit. You can see there's a few rain ruts in it. It's not really easy to create a nice slalom across the hill, so I'm gonna be a little bit creative with how I do this and make more of a slalom as the hill tapers out and the rain ruts get less. There aren't many rules to this part. The tighter the corners you put on it, the harder this is going to be, so I will leave this up to you to figure out. The only advice here is not to overestimate your ability. Now, on the surface of things, this drill is shaping up to be a pretty straightforward exercise, but there is a curveball. The goal here is to learn to ride through these cones at a consistently slow speed from start to finish. No acceleration, no deceleration, just an attempt to maintain quite a constant forward motion and a speed that is slightly uncomfortably slow for you. This is what transforms this drill from riding around a set of cones into something significantly more useful. To do this, we're going to have to learn to keep the clutch in pretty much a consistent position the whole way, dragging the clutch the whole way through the cones. That's how we determine the amount of forward motion we want all the way. Let me show you. As I approach the start gate, I'm going to bring the clutch inward to start controlling my speed. The throttle is constant, the clutch is constant, and now it's a game of practicing being consistent and patient and learning to be balanced. Everything else we need to make a turn here needs to happen too. I check where I'm going early, I look where I want to go in the turn, and I keep myself balanced on the bike. These turns aren't hugely tight at the moment, so my balance is quite far forward and pretty subtle through the foot pegs, and I'm light on the handlebars too. If I make the slalom harder, I might need to counterbalance more to stop the bike tipping over, as I would in a U-turn, but really you want to avoid that and keep the eye on the prize, riding uphill slowly, using the clutch to keep the speed constant. Over time, this drill teaches you great separation of the controls and your body movement, and it also teaches you to crawl with the bike a little bit more and understand the principle of, if I have grip and the bike is moving forwards at a controlled speed, then we are good. Down the line, those skills are the foundation for much more complex riding. Uphill steps, changes of pace, slippery terrain, lifting the front wheel, and more. That segues us nicely into the most common mistake that I see with this drill, not controlling the speed of the bike using the clutch. It's incredibly common to ride where we accelerate and then slow down between each obstacle. But for this exercise, that defeats the point of learning to accurately control the clutch and develop patience, precision, and balance. If you're not using the clutch consistently the whole way, or you are driving the bike forward and then slowing down to turn, you're not developing and practicing the exact skills we talked about. This is a mistake I fell fell foul of slightly when making this video. This hill was tricky to practice this on for my ability level. The ground is clay and chalk and slippery when wet, and the changes in pace required made it tricky to get this right. I had to really concentrate on the task to make sure I wasn't falling back on momentum to solve the clutch problem. Let's see if you can hear me doing it. You can hear in that clip, especially towards the end, I was playing with the clutch too much, moving it in and out too far. Remind yourself, constant speed. If we go back a few runs later, I'd gotten it much better. Let's take another listen. Okay, nice and consistent. This first corner is super slippery, so we have to keep a little bit of drive on. Just nice, consistent. Clutch in the same place pretty much. Maybe some small changes to take some speed away as the hill flattens out. Just there, we had a little dip. Little dip there. But really try to be consistent as you can with all of the controls. If the movements are there, it's mucho small. This is a great drill for working on body position and balance. If you find yourself using a ton of energy, pulling on the handlebars a lot, or struggling to make the bike turn well, there is a good chance that's coming from your body position being suboptimal. You can see when I'm doing this, I'm actually pretty upright for most of it and quite far forward. I'm in balance, so I'm not really putting much energy into the equation. It also means if I need to move, I can. On top of this, one of the common questions I get is this going to destroy the clutch on my bike? And the answer to that is no, it won't, but you have to use the clutch properly. The enemy of a clutch is heat and friction combined together. When we slip a clutch and we have high revs, that generates a huge amount of heat in the clutch. It gets starved of oil, and then you will annihilate the friction plates very quickly, and you're going to need that lesson that we recently did on how to ride without a clutch. If we keep the revs lower and calmer, the abuse on the clutch is significantly lower, and the bikes are capable of dealing with this. They have wet multi-plate clutches that are designed to be used in a slipping way. It will add some wear to your clutch, but the better you are at this, the less likely you'll be to wear your clutch out when you are in a tricky riding situation. So get the cones out and remember, life's better when you're riding.